Hi, everyone. Carol here for the weekly channel lesson. We're going to be talking about defeat, what this energy actually represents, and how we can counteract that. So let's get started. As always, I want to invite my spiritual helpers to come in and to connect with me and to present this material to you today. I knew that we needed to be talking about the energy of defeat and what that means. So many people today are feeling defeated, feeling overwhelmed. Yes, it appears that things seem to be moving and shifting into a positive direction, but there's still this sense of defeat that's going on out there. So let's talk about the energy of defeat and what this really means. And what they're telling me at this moment is that defeat is actually a thought. It is something that we have put in our head and in our hearts and in our minds that is actually true when it isn't true. So we basically believe and buy into the energy of defeat. It is something that they are saying we have told ourselves is a part of our reality. The problem is it may not and is not a part of the reality. That's the important thing. We've told ourselves that defeat is real. The problem is this really represents a state of frustration. So when we are feeling defeated, rather than saying there's nothing I can do, I don't know what to do about all of this, we need to stop for a moment and recognize that we're out of answers, that we're out of solutions. Now, this does not mean that answers and solutions don't exist. It means that they're not present, they're not in front of you, they're not before you, and you do not know where to go to get them. This is what gives rise to the defeat. And they're talking about there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that this is the place that you're in. And they're going, this is a good place. It is a good place when you recognize I'm at my wit's end. They go, the greatest change happens when we move into a state of not understanding what the next step is. This invites in, they're talking about a state of surrender. And you're going, gee, surrender to the defeat? No, surrender to the not knowing. This is when we can have the shift. If we look at terms of hitting rock bottom, it's the same thing. We literally don't know what to do anymore. So they're talking about taking this energy of defeat and shifting it into a state of acknowledging that we don't know the next step, and then moving into a state of surrender, not to the situation, but to your lack of ability to control or know what to do next. This is critical in moving into the solution phase. So defeat, acknowledgement, moving into a state of surrender, and then remaining open for the solution to come in. That's the next step they're talking about. Now, there's a variety of ways that we can do that. We can look through solution from other people, people that we trust, friends, therapists, any reliable resource really that's out there that we want to turn to. These can be resources to help us find, for example, I'm being shown that when I was going through kind of my own issues, whenever there was a lot of political turmoil going on, I found a podcast by someone that I saw was representing courage. I watched that podcast, and as a result of that, I saw this person's courage and I gained that courage for myself. So take a look at your defeat, what you're feeling defeated about. Go find someone who has successfully dealt with that or overcome that situation and start using them as a resource. That's going to help bring in what you need in order to move you out of a sense of defeat and start finding the answers that you need. Now, obviously, Spirit is talking about they say, we would ideally like to see you turn to Spirit for that information and start trusting your intuition. Allow us and your higher sources, whether you call that God, divine, universal mind, whatever it is, allow that information to guide you to what those resources are, because that may take you in a direction that you never would have thought of. You're going to say, let me go find this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we allow Spirit to say, have you thought about this? They may provide you with something that you never would have looked to on your own, if that's making any sense. So they might provide you, for example, an insight that just isn't a part of your normal thought process. So be open to Spirit and allowing them to guide and direct you in a place that may not make any sense, but by following that. The third option that they're talking about So we've got resources from others, turning to spirit for guidance, and they're also talking about shifting your personal thought patterns. There's nothing wrong with recognizing defeat, they're saying, but what you need to do at that moment is then shift into a state of saying, I need solutions. Solutions are going to come into me. I need to take action. I need to shift that energy out of a state of defeat into a state of courage, right? Perseverance, resilience, understanding, clarity. These are all emotions and words that we want to start connecting with. Because remember, a word is more than just a word. A word is a thought process. If I start saying that I need understanding, I need clarity, I need resolution, I need courage or resilience or fortitude, these are things that we know we need to develop and focus on. And they become a part of the solution as a part of this energy of setting in a state of defeat. So that's really basically it for the lesson. Recognizing the state of defeat and feeling it is certainly okay. You have reached a positive place, believe it or not. The next step then, of course, is to acknowledging that. The step after that is to surrendering to the fact that you do not have the solution. That means you need to look for what the solution is. And they're talking about utilizing outside resources that will bring you what you know you need based on what you think you need, allowing spirit to bring in what they recommend that you need because their perspective is ultimately the highest. And there are many previous other channeled lessons that talk about how you can do that and why that's so important. And then, of course, the third step that they're talking about in that resolution phase is you shifting your own personal energy. And I'm also being reminded to say, people, that means we have to do work, right? That means we can't just simply sit around and say, I'm defeated. I feel terrible. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. They're talking about we have to walk into that energy willingly, the positive energy. We have to move into a state of saying, wait, I don't have the answers. I feel defeated, but an answer is there. I need to figure out what I'm going to do to make that resolution take place. And so they're talking about this requires action on our part. When we stay in the state of defeat, they're talking with me now about saying you're going to stay frozen. If that's the energy that you want to stay in, that's exactly where you'll stay, defeated and frozen. This will not move you forward. And all you're getting there showing me is just more and more defeat. Do you see how we're repeating that process by doing that? So we want to get out of the energy of the defeat, move through those steps, find an energy thought pattern, which is resolution to that of some kind, even though you don't know what that resolution is, and move in that direction. You're shifting yourself out of this negative state into the positive state. And this will be something that you must apply, you must do, you must integrate it into your energy, into your thought processes, and hang on to that. And they're talking about, yes, the defeat's going to seep back in. You're going to find yourself being pulled into that dark energy. And they're going, defeat is a very, very, very strong energy pattern. It's going to lure you back like a kid being lured with a piece of candy is what they're showing me, right? Your brain is going to get sucked right back into it because that's how powerful defeat is. Now, the problem they're saying is that's because your positive emotions, your positive solution words over here, right? Like resilience, fortitude, courage, they're not as strong. And so you feel them. They're very faint and they're over here, but then you feel this defeat and it pulls you back again. So they're going, you have to use this effort to make these aspects, these positive aspects that they're showing me over here, keep making them stronger. And as they get stronger and as you work with them more and more and you move in this direction, you're kind of turning your back on that piece of candy. And instead you're finding over here the healthier foods, the healthier thought patterns that you need to integrate. These will grow stronger and eventually defeat now is no longer an energy that has a stronger pull on you. So just think about that for the lesson today. Think about that in terms of defeat, but also think about that in terms of any negative thought patterns that you have and not staying stuck in those thought patterns. Identify those thought patterns they're saying that are defeating you and looking for those alternative words, emotions, feelings, and thought patterns that will counteract those. And then do the work that you need to do to keep yourself focused. Create a mantra, write down whatever it is that you can recite recite to yourself every day. Work with people who already are in that space, who are already representing the qualities that you need that will help you get further and further into that energetic state. So thanks for staying with me today. I hope you will subscribe to the newsletter, and I look forward to channeling it and connecting with spirit for you next week. So bye-bye.